What's up, Fantasy A-Team Nation? I'm your host, Josh Jenkins, and today's video, we are going to reveal our Week 5 waiver wire pickups. But before I start the show, I'd like to welcome back my good friend and co-host, aka the Fantasy Guru, back to the show. Welcome back, Zach.
Hey, what's up, Josh? What's up, A-Team Fantasy Nation? Thanks for having me back, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm excited, man. Let's see what we can try to find you guys off this waiver wire. Help you guys get through this week.
All right, let's dive deep. We are going to be picking from the bottom of the barrel for you guys to try to find some gems for this week's waiver wire. All right, number one. We ain't gonna give in no certain order tonight.
Why don't we just, instead of having an order, we just got like about 5 guys on each position that we kind of like that it's available. So start it off.
That sounds good. Let's do it. All right. First one I'm going to throw out there to you guys is Daniel Jones from the New York Giants. He was 28 of 40 for 402 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 1 interception. This week he's going to be going up against the Dallas Cowboys, ranked 29th against the pass. Daniel Jones is rostered in 25.2% of the leagues, and he has started in just 2%. What's your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, man. I mean, he had a great game. Week after week, he's proven that he can throw the ball with the best of them. He threw for 400 yards. I told you guys when Saquon Barkley got healthy and started being able to produce, he was going to suck that defense forward. Look what happened. Daniel Jones threw for 400 yards. Similar thing's going to happen this week versus Dak and the Dallas offense. To stick with them, they're going to have to throw the ball to try to stay with them. I look for Daniel Jones to throw for 300, maybe 350 plus. He could even hit the 400 mark. Definitely throw for 3 touchdowns. And with the availability on the waiver wire, people, go pick this guy up, man. He's proven that he's turning the New York Giants offense around, him and Saquon Barkley, dude. So he's available. Pick him up. He's a good stash for bye week. And maybe if one of your quarterbacks is hurt or not performing, he's a good start.
All right. Next on the list, we're going to go Matt Ryan, the Atlanta Falcons. He was 25 of 42, 283 yards, and 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. This week they're going up against the New York Jets, 5th against the pass. He's rostered 18.7% of the leagues, started in just 1.5. What's your thoughts?
Well, yeah, Matt Ryan, the old wily vet, he's got an arm, and whenever he gets a chance, he's going to sling the ball. And that's pretty much all they've got there in Atlanta. The defense is kind of weak, so they're always trying to play from behind. He's available. He throws for a lot of yards. He's got great targets, especially with the emergence of Cordero Patterson starting to be one of his favorite targets there. So Calvin Ridley, he's a stud. So, go pick him up. Stash him for a bye week. Heck, like I said, kind of with Daniel Jones, he could easily become one of your starters. So that's why we're giving you these guys. These waiver wire picks early right now in the beginning of the season, some of the guys that will end up winning your league. So Matt Jones could, or not Matt Jones, but Matt Ryan could easily be one of those guys. Same thing with the Daniel Jones thing. So go pick these people up.
All right, next, we're going to go with Taylor Heinicke from the Washington Football Club. He was 23 of 33 for 290 yards and 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He also had 5 rushes for 43 yards. This week they're going up against the New Orleans Saints, 6th ranked against the pass. He's rostered in 7.2% of the leagues, started in just 3.7. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, he's another great pick. He sure surprised me when he got the start. I didn't know, I hadn't seen him play. So now that I've seen him play several games, he's a very efficient quarterback like a Garoppolo. He's going to get you somewhere probably 250 to 325 yards a week, get you a couple touchdowns. their offense is actually starting to heat up. They got McLaurin, they got Davis, Antonio Davis out of the backfield. But the problem is Logan Thomas got hurt. I think he hurt his leg. He's out for season. So someone else is going to emerge as the tight end there. But I believe that offense is efficient enough, and he's an efficient enough quarterback that you could get him, put him on the bench, and let him waiting for the right bye week matchup for your other quarterback. So he's another efficient quarterback that's available out there, people. So if you're looking for someone even for this week, go pick him up.
All right, next, we're going to go with Sam Darnold from my hometown Carolina Panthers. He was 26 for 39, 301 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have 2 picks. This week, they're going up against the Philadelphia Eagles, ranked 18th against the pass. He's rostered in 18.9% of the leagues, started in just 4.3. Zach, what's your thoughts?
Well, here's another guy, man. So him, Daniel Jones, even Matt Ryan, we've talked about these guys probably the last 3 weeks for the waiver wire. So these guys are performing every week. Sam Darnold, somebody I may pick up just to stash for myself, him or Jones, for one of the bye weeks coming up for one of my I'm in a couple different leagues. So for my quarterbacks that are going to start hitting bye weeks. So, dude, he's solid. I know Christian McCaffrey went down, but Chuba Hubbard's pretty good, and they've got a lot of great other athletes there. So, I mean, dude, with the defense that he's got and the weapons he has, Darnold showed that he is actually a really good quarterback. So for the people that slept on him, thought that he really wasn't nothing, he's proven now on a solid team. He's a solid quarterback and another perfect person to pick up, put on your bench for a bye week.
All right. Last but not least, and this one was a sort of a surprise for me. He surprised me this past weekend when he went up against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was Mac Jones. He was 31 of 40 for 275 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did have 1 pick. This week, they're going up against Houston, the 26th ranked against the pass. He's rostered in 8.9% of the leagues, started in just 0.3. What's your thoughts, Zach?
Well, yeah, Mac Jones is emerging as a solid quarterback. They're figuring out the system and how they want to use him, just like what happened with Tom Brady there with Belichick and the way they run the offense there. So it's figuring out what works. And like you just said, going up against Houston, I think they're worse than 26. I know they must have had some games early on that they're against some poor passing offenses, but I think Mac Jones has a really coming out party. He's going to have a big game, I think, this coming week. And again, I think he's someone that you can put on your bench and not just play for a bye week, but by the mid to late season, you could be putting up even better numbers and be someone that you have to start later, depending on what happens down the road, and he can help win your league. So another great choice. I like Mac Jones a lot. Surprising me a lot as a rookie. He has a lot of poise.
All right, guys, there's our quarterbacks for this week's matchups. We're going to dive right into the running backs right now. Without any particular order, my first one I'm going to throw out there to you is A.J. Dillon from the Green Bay Packers. He had 15 rushes for 81 yards, 1 reception for 16 yards. This week they're going up against the Cincinnati Bengals, ranked 14th against the run. He's rostered in 41.9% of the leagues, started in just 1.3.
Yeah, so he's available, people. And with the way as hot as offense as Green Bay is, Aaron Jones can't stay in every down. So that's why Dillon's getting the ball. When you get these offenses that are high potent and they have a good rush day or rush week, whatever you want to call it, there's enough to go around for more than one person, especially when the way they utilize the running back in Green Bay. So another great guy to put out there at a flex position, or if you have someone going on a buy and you just need some numbers, and you never know what happens, if Aaron Jones hamstring or something, just for the game or whatever, not out for the season or nothing, but he could get more carries. So you never know what's going to happen, but definitely got to have on the team. He's a solid stud when he gets the ball. So pick him up and stash him on your bench. You could easily, be started in a flex or even in a running back 2 bye week situation.
All right, next, we're going to throw out there Damian Williams from the Chicago Bears. He had 8 rushes, 55 yards, 1 touchdown. He had 2 receptions for 15 yards. This week, they're going up against the Las Vegas Raiders, ranked 15th against the run. He's rostered in 1.3% of the leagues and started in just 0.1.
Well, yeah. So Damian Williams, you know how he's kind of got a little bit of my heart since he's an ex-Chief. So I told you guys way back was week 2 that he was available then. People should pick him up and stash him if you're going to need a good running back going forward. So David Montgomery got a little banged up, and that's what allowed Williams to get the ball. So he set out the year of COVID, so he has fresh legs. He's a dual threat. I know he didn't have big numbers on the receiving, but he can at any time. He helped us win the Super Bowl. He's a super stud. I would definitely grab him, put him on my roster. He may even become between him and David Montgomery. They may do like a dual thing, kind of like with Moss and Singletary and Buffalo. But I don't know. It's kind of a question mark with their offense with the Fields and Dalton situation. But going forward, Williams is going to be someone they're going to utilize in that offense, especially once he showed that he's efficient. So I pick him up and stash him.
All right. Next, we're going to go with Darrell Williams. He had 10 rushes for 42 yards, 1 touchdown. This week he's going up against Buffalo, the 4th ranked defense against the run. He's rostered in 1.6% of the leagues and started in just 0.2.
Yeah, so Damian Williams is another guy that if something was to happen to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's going to step right in. So he's someone that can stash for that purpose only, or not for that purpose only, but for one. That's one purpose. The other purpose is the way our offense is, man, we just rotate in and out. So if he gets banged up or runs a long run, they're just going to run Williams in there. Williams, when he gets the ball, he's a stud. He averages a lot per carry. So with that said, he could easily be put in on a flex or a running back 2 bye week situation. And if something happens to Edwards-Helaire, he's going to definitely be our number 1 option in Kansas City. So get him, stash him if you have the room. Another good waiver wire pickup.
All right, next, Kenneth Gainwell, Philadelphia Eagles. He had 3 rushes, 31 yards, and a touchdown. This week he's going up against the Carolina Panthers, 3rd ranked defense against the run. He had 6 receptions. He had 8 receptions for 58 yards as well. He's rostered in 11.1% of the leagues, started in just 0.4.
Yeah, so I just watched this guy play against my Chiefs guys. I hadn't seen him much, on film other than just here or there. So he actually is a really good running back. Runs routes out of the backfield really well, runs hard when he has the ball. So, he's like the backup to Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders hasn't been producing, which only means they're going to start to try to, see if they can't get any more out of Gainwell, I'm sure. So pick this guy up. He's kind of a stud. And if something was to go wrong with Sanders, anyways, he would be the next guy, next man up per se. With that said, they have a weird – they're not the same because Baltimore's a unique offense, but they're a little bit like that where they have a couple guys they hand the ball off to and Jalen Hurts runs. So there's a lot of rushing yards to be had in that offense during, when they just for their total at the end of the game. So like I said, a running back 2 situation or a flex situation or a stashing for a bye week. Good waiver wire pickup.
All right, guys, that concludes the actual running back part of the waiver wire video. Next, we're going to dive right into the wide receivers. The first name I'm going to throw out there to you is Darnell Mooney of the Chicago Bears. He was 5 of 7. He had 7 receptions for 125 yards. No TDs. He had 1 rush for 10 yards. This week, they're going up against the Las Vegas Raiders, ranked 16th against the pass or receivers. He's rostered in 38.8% of the leagues and started in just 1.7%.
Yeah, so he's another solid guy, especially with the problems not problems, but with the question mark they have at the quarterback position there. So he's going to get you some solid wide receiver 3 numbers, maybe flex guy. Definitely someone you can pick up and just keep him and see what happens there. He's obviously installed in the offense. He's going to get the ball. So another good waiver wire pickup right here.
All right. My next pick for this week's waiver wire video, Corey Davis from the New York Jets. He had 7 receptions for 111 yards and 1 touchdown. This week, they're going up against the Atlanta Falcons, ranked 25th against receivers. He's rostered in 66.1% of the leagues, started in just 8.1. He may not be out there for as much for a lot of people, but he's still out there for grabs.
Right. For about half of people, or a little over half of people, have a chance to grab him. And he's certainly, you can easily keep him and play him in a bye week situation or a wide receiver. You could even, depending on your wide receiver situation, maybe a wide receiver 2 or your wide receiver 3/flex. It looks like they figured out how they want to use him and their offense a little bit there. I know Zach Wilson struggled there at the beginning, but it looks like he's starting to learn the offense and how to read the defense and where to put the ball. So, yeah, Corey Davis, I think his stock's going up, and there's a chance to grab him now. You better get him. So good waiver wire pickup.
All right, next on the list, I'm going to go with Laviska Shenault from the Jacksonville Jaguars. He had 7 receptions for 99 yards, didn't have a TD. This week, they're going up against the Tennessee Titans. They're ranked 31st against the receiver. He's rostered 41% and only started in 2%.
Yeah, man. So this guy, I've been talking about this guy for a while. I said before, this kid's an athlete once he got a chance to get the ball. And they've been throwing him a lot. They've been throwing a lot to him. So it looks like Lawrence is starting to like him. So, yeah, this kid's a stud. He's going to continue to be installed in the offense. He's going to keep getting the ball, and he's only going to produce. I think his ceiling, I think he's on a player that's on the rise. So if you can grab him, stash him on your roster, he could easily be a wide 2 or wide receiver flex guy. So put him on your roster, and believe me, you won't be disappointed.
All right, this next guy had a breakout game this week. John Ross from the New York Giants. He had 3 receptions for 77 yards and 1 touchdown. He is rostered in 0.1%, and he is not started in any leagues.
Yeah, so, I mean, the guy's kind of, he didn't come out of nowhere. I knew who he was, but, yeah, he's super fast, people. So with Daniel Jones, like what I was talking about before, so with Saquon Barkley and the worry of him rushing, and safety suck up, and Ross is so fast, like a Hill or a Ruggs, he can get behind the defense. Daniel Jones got a huge arm, dude, and this is what happens. So if you guys can go pick him up, man, he has potential to have a huge high ceiling. If this continues and Barkley continues to play well, doesn't get banged up or nothing, you're going to look at this happen over and over, just like with the Ruggs and the Hill situation. So if you have a chance to pick him up and you have the room, man, go get him. Put him on your team. Great waiver wire pickup.
All right, next, we're going to go with Jamison Crowder, also from the New York Jets. He was 7 of 9. He had 9 receptions for 61 yards and a touchdown. This week, he's also going up against Atlanta, 25th against the pass, rostered in 5.2% of the leagues, started in 0.9.
Yeah, and so here's another reason why the Jets had problems, because they had a lot of rookie guys. They had the rookie quarterback, a lot of guys that were inexperienced running routes, that weren't running routes and stuff, right? Not reading the defense and getting the open spots in the zone defenses. So now you got two studs like Corey Davis and Jamison Crowder, who are vets. They know where to be. And so it seems like them and Wilson are on the same page. So they're being targeted and installed in the offense now that they're back. So another great person to pick up. He's only going to get more. They're only going to throw to him more. He's installed in the offense. Great time to pick him up, put him on the waiver wire. I'm telling you, these weeks are the weeks to pick these guys up. And then later you're like, wow, he helped me win my league. Not that he was your highest scoring guy, but you're like, man, if I didn't have this guy in this spot, I would have ended up losing. So believe me, these are the weeks that help win you guys. So let's get to these tight ends and get this list done.
All right, I got two honorable mentions. I just want to throw out there to you guys real quick. First one we're going to throw out is Jakobi Meyers. He had 12 receptions, 70 yards. He didn't have a touchdown. He's going up against Houston, number 9. He's rostered 41%, starting at 25.2. And then I have Emmanuel Sanders. He was 5 of 6, 74 yards, 0 touchdowns, going up against Kansas City, 21st ranked defense against the pass.
Right. So who was the first one you said? I'm sorry.
Jakobi Meyers.
Jakobi Meyers. So look, he's a young super athlete. Him and Mac Jones have a good rapport there too. So of all those guys there, he has the highest ceiling because he's such an athlete. They're throwing the ball a lot too. So that's a good way. That's another good waiver wire pickup. And then the second one was who again?
Emmanuel Sanders.
So in Buffalo, Emmanuel Sanders, the perfect position for him. He's a long ball guy or a slot guy. Beasley and Diggs, they're the guys that are getting double teamed, so it's allowing him to get open, especially since they have to worry about Singletary out of the backfield. So that's a good waiver wire pickup right there.
All right, that concludes our wide receiver part of the waiver wire. Next, we're going to jump into the tight ends, and I'm going to start off with CJ Azuma of the Cincinnati Bengals. He had 6 receptions for 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. This guy is only rostered in 0.2% of the leagues, and he hasn't been started yet.
Yeah, so this is what it is. Everybody at this level is a top 1% athlete at their position. So now that this guy got a chance, and I even got a chance to look at him, I watched some of the film, some of the footage. I'm telling you, he's tall, he's big, so he's like Kelsey. He can line up as a wide receiver, and he's fast like Darren Waller. So with that said, man, if they're smart there, they've got another big weapon for Burrow, and it looked like he likes to throw to him. So hopefully that might be kind of like a new connection that, just pumps up that Cincy offense. It just means more points for everyone in the Cincy offense, So great waiver wire pickup. I'd pick him up, start him.
All right, next, we're going to go with AlieCox from the Indianapolis Colts. He had 5 receptions for 42 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also is only started in 0.2%. And no one has started him yet.
Yeah, so I knew about him for a couple of years. I think it was his second or third year. So he played really good a couple of games in his rookie season, and then he kind of got banged up. But yeah, he's super athletic, the guy is. And he's kind of fast. Reminds me of Antonio Gates, how fast he is. So yeah, he's a good big target. If you need a tight end or a backup tight end for your bye weeks coming up, he can only do nothing but have a high ceiling. He already has like a floor that's decent, but man, he's just gonna get higher, I think. So he's somebody that could right now be a backup for you, but maybe by the end of the season could be your starter and help you win the season. So go pick him up. Good waiver wire pickup.
All right, next we're gonna go with Dawson Knox from the Buffalo Bills. He had 8 receptions, 37 yards, 2 touchdowns. They're going up against the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend, 29th.
Yeah, so it's Buffalo. So Buffalo, again, has a high-powered offense. He's shown that even though he's only 35 yards, he's his blanket. He likes to dump in the ball, especially in the red zone. We've been talking about this Dawson Knox guy for 3 weeks, guys, on the waiver wire. So, I mean, he's obviously somebody who's good. So pick this guy up and start him if you want. Personally, the next guy I think is the best on the whole list. I actually picked him up last week and started him. He's done nothing but put up good numbers. So I ain't trying to jump ahead, but yeah, and the next guy, the guys I haven't mentioned his name yet, but we've had these guys on the list for every week. So we're telling you guys, man, pick these guys up and at least put them as a backup. If not, they'll probably become your starter and help you win the league. So,
all right, next, Dalton Schultz, Dallas Cowboys. He had 8 receptions for 58 yards and a touchdown. They're going up against the New York Giants, 28th against the tight end. He's rostered in 51.3% of the leagues and started in 40.3%.
Now, see, people started listening to us, started picking him up. And he's just performing. And I say Dak, and Dallas's offense. And Dak's offense, Dak loves this guy. And even the Jarwin guy there is pretty good too. But for some reason, this Dawson Schultz guy, he's big. He's at the right place at the right time. He obviously has installed him in the offense a little bit more. He's getting the ball targeted at him. I think he's a stud. So, man, pick this guy up, put him as your backup. If not, like me, he's going to end up probably being my starter because I was weak at tight end. So, and when you have that kind of position, when you have that problem, you have a backup that's as good as your starter, then you just play the matchups every week. And we do our matchup videos. So we look for those. And, dude, definitely pick this guy up and put him on your team. I think this is the best waiver wire pickup of the tight end myself.
All right, next but not least, we're going to go with Hunter Henry. He had 5 receptions for 32 yards, 1 touchdown, going up against Houston, ranked 31st against the tight end, rostered 12.4% of the league, started in 5.4%.
Yeah, so I mean, in that, you know how the Belichick offense is, like that double tight end. So they have that Johnny Smith and Hunter Henry. So it's going to be back and forth, but both these guys are installed in the offense. Mac Jones is going to use them because they're like safety nets in their offense. If he can't hit, you know, the Jacoby Jones or Aguilar or whatever, he's going to hit this guy right here, Hunter Henry or Johnny Smith. So I think, like I said, that offense is going to, I know it hasn't seemed like much, but it's starting to grow. They're having more chemistry. You know, he's a rookie. He's getting more confident in reading where to throw the ball against the defenses as they line up against him. Mac Jones is really smart, so I think it's only going to get better. Same thing with Hunter Henry. It's just going to help him. So I think it's a good pickup, and you could be stashed to be played as a backup later.
Guys, that concludes our Week 5 waiver wire pickups. If you have any comments, questions, drop them down below. We'll get to them as quickly as possible. If you don't want to put them there, you can go on our Twitter page at Fantasy A Team 1, and we'll also answer them as quickly as possible. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and remember, friends don't let friends auto draft.